Hi, chat. I loathe you.
All right, I think we're. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Everything
You
got
sound
super low.
tasty.
I think we're. I think we're good to go.
You sound beautiful.
Let me know if my audio is okay here. But what's going on, guys? The dealer here, back again with yet another RDX podcast. We are live. A lot of stuff going down today. Yeah, okay, we're definitely live. A lot of stuff going down today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Hit that like button if you're here early. We do appreciate it. We've got all kinds of different topics, including the very latest in Xbox, and we're even talking about a little bit of Sony stuff too. Give our opinions. We get a lot of questions about what we think about like Last of Us 2 and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about it for sure. But let's get into some intros. We'll get into some shout outs as the power of the sun refuels me right now. Colt Eastwood, man, thank you so much for joining us once again. How have you been?
You're not powered by the sun. I've been really good. I'm glad to be back. I was gone last week, and there's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. So thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on my show.
Thanks for having me on the show. Also, chat, let me know if you can hear me just fine. Something happened right before I went live, and I don't know if it's quite like it used to be. But hey, Zalker, buddy, how have you been, man?
Doing really good, buddy. Just I watch State of Play, watch Inside Xbox. I'm ready to talk about it. I know the chat's excited to talk about it. I know we're also excited to talk about it. A lot of info to go through, and some of it good, some of it bad. But I'm excited, man. Thanks for having me on again, brother.
Yeah. Hey, D-Batch, how have you been, man?
I'm good, man. What a day of gaming news. What a day to do a podcast. We have so much content from both Microsoft, Sony, and where the hell is Batman? Let's get to the topics, man.
Gotta bring up sour shit,
yeah,
bro.
I mean, it's so we'll talk about that in the show, but it's so much going on there. Fonzarelli, how have you been?
Oh, I've been great, and I can't wait to get into these topics, especially one today. Let's go.
Hey, Tim Dog, are you there, bud? You gonna do Mike? Sounded great.
Yeah, I hope I sound better. Last week my Yeti went. I bought a new one, so this is the new one.
The sacrifices.
So much better, bro.
The what'd you say, Zalker?
He sounds so much better now.
You know what, Zalker? He still sounds better than you. That's all that matters.
I'm smiling like that one guy playing Xcloud in that video.
Well,
who is that guy?
Yeah, I don't know who that is. In either case, we do have quite a few topics to go over today, guys. We got a bunch of information regarding loud noises in the background. I got to give a shout out to my patrons as well, real quick. Starting with Darth Chaos, a Nerdy Meathead. We got Prython, Vec Boss, DV83RX. It's an interesting one. Obi-Wan FTW, Tasteless Genie, Scout Trooper 74, Centurion 1307 of LegionOfGamer.com. If you haven't checked that site out, check it out. Black. We've also got Real Deal Neil. We got Suicide King, Darius Knight, Michael Brown, Guillermo Cavillo, who has pretty much been there since day one. Channing Pennington, and as well as Wilmy Hood. Our thoughts go out to him. He just went under an operation today as well. So if you haven't, say hi to him on Twitter. Tim, is that you fiddling around in the background? What is that? Somebody's moving around or something. It's, I don't know. I'm just letting them know there's some feedback there.
Get well, Wilmy Hood.
Yeah, get well, Wilmy Hood. The Bad Boy Live, shout out to him as well. And then we got Naughty Nubbin. We've also got Alfonso Hogan, A Squad, who's going to be having a blast with all this Ghost Recon finally about to launch. And Slim Killer 73. Thank you guys so much. Just a reminder, we just gave away a copy of Control last week, and we'll be doing that pretty much every single month, giving away brand new games. So be sure and check out that Patreon link down below. So we got state of play to talk about first, and of course. There's some, I don't know, D brought up something in the chat before the show that I didn't even really notice, but maybe you guys did. I don't know. Either way, I'm sure it'll get taken out of context. But regarding Sony State of Play, we'll kind of talk about this, let some people file in, and then we'll move on to Inside Xbox and some of the other announcements here. But the COD single-player trailer, guys, is it me, or does that story actually look pretty damn appealing?
It looks very good. Very good. I was high on it, man. I liked it a lot. I may pick this game up just for that campaign alone now.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people are picking up the game for the campaign alone. I played the beta this past weekend, and I enjoyed basically only the 2v2 aspect because I liked it a lot more. I thought it was more tactical, and it wasn't just throw grenades across the map and freaking get 10 kills. But yeah, the campaign actually does look good. It does. I think I like the World War II one the best, the last couple that came out. So this one actually has promise. I liked it because I like that era. I like World War II era.
You like
so
that era, huh?
I hate those
Yeah.
guns.
Yeah, I just think you like look.
I love the guns in it too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looked really good. I think it's interesting how they're erasing like the canon of the old. Aren't they doing that like with Price and all that? Like, they just said whatever. We're just gonna do it over. So
Fuck it. Here you go.
Favorite characters. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing how long the game is. That's really my only hurdle now, whether or not I purchase the game.
oh god, it's Gears. It's Gears of War all over.
Do you guys think it's like it's
I'm saying, you know how some of those games were like 5 hours long, man. That's too short.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you run right through them, but yeah.
The multiplayer on this weekend, it sold me on the game. The multiplayer was solid, and the crossplay for the game, holy shit, the crossplay was so good, especially like on PC against console guys. Now, if you do it on the PC, if you don't hook up a mouse and keyboard and you just do it with a controller on the PC, it will just pair you up with people with controllers without a mouse ever. Only if someone in your party has a mouse and keyboard, then will you get some of the other mouse.
Well, I faced against PlayStation and Xbox guys. There's like a symbol that shows what network they're on. I had that, but it wasn't against like competitive. It was just like the big matches or the team death matches that didn't really matter. They just go in there and kill people. You can tell there was a disadvantage when I was playing. Like I was utterly destroying people.
What do
like
you
they
mean?
couldn't
Like you were
turn, like
you were
like
on
they
PC
couldn't turn
for
around
it?
fast enough. Yeah, I was on PC.
Well, yeah,
So they
of course,
couldn't turn
everyone knows
around.
there's a disadvantage. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you
Yeah,
play
no,
with
I know,
mouse
but,
and
like-
keyboard or your controller.
Mouse and keyboard. I
Yeah,
both
yeah.
use
So
both.
mouse and keyboard, it'll pair you with some controller people. Yeah, but I'm saying
yeah.
if you just use a controller and everybody in your party has a controller, you won't go against anyone with a
That and
keyboard.
I think you can also disable it as well in the menu or something, right?
Yeah,
So-
you can disable it. Yeah, you can
I
disable
mean, we're
it,
talking a
but
lot
I
about
did run into
crossplay. I mean, it's
what-
really cool that they're doing it. I like the fact that they're finally implementing the symbols next to the name, so you know who to teabag. Let us know what you think about that in the chat as well, because that's really cool. You can find out who's on PlayStation, who's on Xbox, and kind of see who's the best there. I think that will only incentivize competition. We got S Viderman in the in the super chase. Inside Xbox was better than the state of play. I don't know, man. I felt like they were both. We'll talk about that. But at the end of the day, regarding Call of Duty, I'm gonna pick this one up, man. I'm definitely kind of looking forward to the campaign. Didn't really mess with the multiplayer much. It did feel like Modern Warfare back in the day, the movement and all that. So, I mean, if you're into that, that's definitely a good thing.
What about the graphics, guys? Did you guys not notice the big up, even on the Xbox One X over the weekend? The graphics really, really look amazing. And from the single player that we saw today, I really got the impression that this is going to be a really mature game. They put an emphasis on the choices that you make. There's a gray line there. I really enjoyed that. Can't wait.
Elementary Peel says State of Play made us wait until the end to see Last of Us 2. A trailer. God, fucking chat keeps moving, man. A trailer. Let me see if I can try to stop this here. A trailer they could have showed separately. Yeah, they could have done that, but I feel like that's pretty much every big event or every kind of event like that. They want you to tune in, right? Even though State of Play doesn't have a great reputation, just like Inside Xbox, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and move forward to Last of Us 2. Right, and let's get our opinions out there about that real quick. The trailer came out. It is going to be a game on 2 discs, by the way. If you're going to buy it physically, it'll be on 2 separate 50 gigabyte dual layer Blu-ray discs, and it's releasing February 21st. And what can I say? The trailer looked good. I mean, it looks like Ellie's girlfriend, the hot garbage girl from the first trailer, gets killed. I mean, they kind of put that right in your face. So. I don't know. Joel's obviously back. You know it's gonna be high quality. You know that even rewatching some of the older stuff here recently, you're like, man, this is really like jarring how realistic some of these killing scenes are. So well acted and stuff. It's kind of a compliment, but at the same time, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how IGN act when it's too realistic and they want a non-lethal mode for this game, because the killing in this game is nuts. What did you?
She doesn't die.
I don't know. Either way, maybe she does, maybe she don't. Cold Eastwood, did you actually end up seeing any of the Last of Us 2 stuff?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's very brutal. It's definitely one of the most mature games that you're going to play in a long time, I think. It definitely has some mature themes that we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, some like really, don't buy this shit for your kids, right? But feel free to blame
I mean, we've had plenty of rated M games, but I mean, just watching that trailer makes me think back. Like, when's the last time we played a game that was so brutally mature and
I mean, you're getting your elbows broken with
heavy.
hammers and stuff. Like, you know,
well, this trailer is very cold and violent, and it has like some really cool action montages, like shotgun blasts and hand-to-hand takedowns, and like all that stuff's really cool. And then you see some of these new I don't know gosh, there's like a brute clicker. Yeah, it's really, really, really heavy stuff, and we haven't had something like that in a long time. Maybe Days Gone did that a little bit, but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, shout out to Luke in the chat, Lethal Papa. Todd, we've also got, what is that? Abe Lop. Hi, buddy. We've got Marshall. We've got, I think I saw Obi-Wan Free Jack, Wild Bates. We've got Harry Jessel. That's an interesting one. We got a lot of people in the chat, guys. Thanks for rocking out with us. We're trying to move things along. But Last of Us 2, the trailer was impressive. The release date is February 21st, right? Like I said, I do believe that's what I said. And it's obviously going to be one of the biggest games of next year, if not the biggest. No matter what you want to, it's probably going to get Game of the Year easily. Let's just be honest here. No matter what happens, which is unfortunate. But the thing about Last of Us, it probably deserves it as well. Tim Dog, did you see anything on Last of Us 2? Were you able to catch that?
Yeah, I watched it. I was impressed. I thought it looked good. You know what you were expecting. It's Naughty Dog. You know, what they put out is pretty much top-notch stuff. So, for me, it was pretty much, all the same. It did show different scenes and different combat, so it was really good. Just overall, it's, I'm not gonna, be the type of guy that's gonna rain on somebody else's parade. It is what it is. It's top tier game, and a game that I'm going to find myself definitely playing. And, to get me off Xbox is if I'm going to play is pretty hard. So, it's just one of those games that I think everyone has to experience.
Yeah. I mean, at least you didn't act like a lot of the Sony guys out there where Gears 5 looked fire as fuck. And they're like, well, it's trash and only got played by X amount of people. Like you don't try to detract from a great game with that's high quality, a ton of effort and time in it, from arguably the best developers out there. So I'm like you. I'm looking forward to it. It looks really good. The production value is going to be really good. Animations are on point. But D-Batch, and I'm sure there's some creepy bunny motherfucker out there that's going to take this shit out of context. But I mean, you, not the rest of us. Maybe, I don't know. Zachary might have said something, but not me, not Colt Eastwood. You pointed out that you noticed something about the game.
Yeah. So, okay. First of all, I pre-ordered this game day one, so I'm gonna play this game. I thought the trailer today looked fantastic. I thought the animation were on point. I liked the mature theme of it. It was awesome to see Joel back at the end because we didn't know if he was the one that died in the game. So I'm really looking forward to the game. With that said, I did see a downgrade from what they did show at E3.
Fraud.
E3. E3, that trailer was just crispier. It was the textures were better, the details were better.
Do you think maybe they showed like a pro trailer instead of maybe the last one's on the base? Or...
Initially, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, this must be a PlayStation 5 game?" Then everyone was like, "No, it's not a PlayStation 5 game. It's a PlayStation 4." Digital Foundry said, "No, it's PlayStation 4." Yada yada yada. So I just left that alone. But now seeing it today, it's and people take it out of context, like me saying that the game looks awful and that it's trash showing and the game just looked horrible. No, the game looks fantastic. It looks top tier. It's going to be one of the best looking games of the generation, maybe one of the best looking games next year, period. Like the game looks fantastic, but at the same time, it just didn't look as good as what we saw at E3. And I was saying, behind the scenes that, they have a history of that. When Naughty Dog first showed us Uncharted, like the last one, when he's coming out the bushes and he was in the swamp or something, everyone's like, whoa. But when the next time when they showed the actual gameplay, it didn't look as crisp. There was a slight downgrade to certain things, and they have a history of doing that just to show off maybe the concept of what they actually want for their game. Maybe, I don't know. So they add some CGI elements in there. I'm not sure what they do, but the bottom line is, in my opinion, I think the game got a slight downgrade from what I saw.
And you're entitled. You're entitled to your opinion. I'll let Fonz reply. Again, this is kind of D's opinion on it. No one else's. Well, maybe some other people in here. We'll get around to that. But I didn't notice it. I didn't really pay attention to it. Irrelevant Native says Felix the Reaper greater than The Last of Us 2 in the super chat. Get your pitchforks out now. Shout out to Native as well. And D, your comment brought All Day Digital out of the hole, out from underneath the rock. So you got to give credit to D for making All Day leave a comment. He says no downgrade. So Fonzarelli, in 30 seconds, man, what do you got to say on this?
Oh, so he got like 2 minutes to say downgrade.
Because that's like I feel like there's no downgrade is a little easier to say than explain why you would see a downgrade where a lot of people don't. You know.
First off, let me just give my opinion on it. I think it was a fire trailer in terms of getting people hyped up for the game. We're already hyped up for the game if you played the first. But as far as downgrade, D, I respect you. I respect opinions. Unfortunately, I don't respect this one.
He said, but go fuck yourself.
Basically, what you saw in that last trailer that they showed back at E3 was, a different time of day and a different setting. And here they're showing completely different settings, and it looked gorgeous. The animations look good. The graphics look great. I didn't see any downgrade. I was blown away by it. The only one negative thing I have to say about the trailer that I didn't like, I wish I could unsee some of the spoilers that they showed. I don't like them spoiling things in trailers, and to me they showed a little too much. But aside from that, I don't think there's a downgrade. I think you maybe you're wearing your sunglasses at the time when you watch. I don't know. I don't get it, but there's no downgrade there.
Let us know what you think in the chat. Zalker, did you notice anything? Again, I didn't sit there and think. That's not the first thing I go to. Like I'll see a comparison side by side and then I'll judge it, but I'll never think like first thing, oh yeah, that's a downgrade. Usually, like unless it's really bad. I didn't really notice it. Did you?
No, I didn't know. So I'm gonna go back now and look at the first trailer, look at this trailer, and then kind of compare them in 4K. But as for what Fawn said, what I want to talk about is the spoilery thing. I don't think they showed a lot of spoilers. I think that Naughty Dog is extremely intelligent. I think they know how to manipulate a trailer, kind of like Gears manipulated a trailer. Like some of the stuff that they showed in Gears, you weren't even playing that character in some of the stuff. Like I think Naughty Dog is well aware of spoiler things. Like everybody's like, oh, like every article saying, oh, the girlfriend dies. Like I don't know, man. Maybe she like everybody's like she dies, and it's all about revenge. And I'm like, that seems kind of fucking simple. Like that's it. Like it's just a revenge. Like I don't think that's what it is. I think that something bigger happens. I don't know, man. I just think that they have a lot of shit going on.
But Zucker, that's the plot. That's the plot of many big blockbuster movies is revenge. So, I mean, it could be just as simple as that. And honestly, if it is just that what they showed, and the other thing too that we were talking about, I don't want to say it on here because who knows what YouTube would do to the video. But anyway, there's things that they showed that would have more of an emotional impact if you played the game and saw it for the first time as you played. I don't like seeing stuff in trailers that have that emotional impact because it takes away, it detracts from the actual gameplay. Like, I don't know, experiencing it for the first time while you play.
Then you should stay away from every trailer, bro.
Hey, all day says D has Murray's hair grease in his lion eyes. I don't know, man.
Not every trailer does that with games. That if it was as blatant as I think it is, that's pretty bad.
Well, in either case, it's just a trailer. Like, if they showed all that in the trailer, I doubt it's the main plot, right? It's probably something to do with everything, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. Again, chat, let us know what your thoughts are on Last of Us 2. I didn't even think about downgrade at all until D said something. I mean, Tim, did you notice anything?
Well, I mean, listen, in my opinion,
you thought it was a little less crisp or what?
I thought a little less crisp, but I think that in like I said pre-show, I said they all do that. I think I've seen that every time, almost every time. I don't really think when they first really reveal a game, whether it's at E3 or whatever you want to say, Sea of Thieves even had a downgrade. Everything I think when you first see it in conceptual mode is just a little tad cleaner. And that's the way I kind of felt with this. But do I think it looks bad? I think it looks unbelievable. Like it's like some of the scenes in there, especially like when she's in the room and she's looking down where I think the fireplace is going or whatever. It's just, you know, they're top of the when it comes to graphics, they're top of they're the top echelon. So, you know, really to complain about it, it's just complaining. You're grasping at straws because in the end, the game is you're just going to say it looks amazing. But you know, especially when you get into this stuff, people get emotional. Whether it's puddles here, with the whole Spider-Man thing, and not that I think in that case that was like much bigger of a difference. But this, I mean, I would say a tad. I saw it. I can, but like I said, that I'm used to that, and I kind of expected it this time, and I kind of expect the people who say downgrade. But do I really put any value into it? The answer is no to that. I know when you're playing the game on your screen, it's going to be amazing.
So you're basically like, this is like, maybe it doesn't look as good as the first trailer, but oh well, every game kind of does that.
Pretty much, yeah. I do. I am a believer in that. Whether it's even like the Gears. I remember we were doing the Gears thing when she was coming from she was going down into the pit. Yeah. Do I think that looked a little bit better than when I first did it in the thing? Even though they're very close. Yeah, I'm going to be a minute. A little bit, but does it really affect is it really affecting the experience? No. Is it really even worth mentioning? I don't even think it's worth.
I mean, it looked like in the E3 Gears thing, it looked like in the background the level wasn't even the same. Like the game wasn't done being built. And maybe that's the case with Last of Us and some of that. But in either case, man, the game does look good. We're really kind of hoping high hopes for the game as well. We think it's going to be absolute quality. Question is, will it be higher rated than the first Last of Us, which is like a 95 meta?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean the game is I'm surely gonna be fire, and the thing that makes the violence in the game so jarring is because it's so damn well acted. Neil Druckmann's like, scream louder, like he demands more and more from those guys, you can tell, and whoever they got kind of directing the cast over there do phenomenal work. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is Last of Us 2. We all know it's going to be great. Yeah.
Did you guys
I just want to say for the record that Naughty Dog is one of my favorite developers, just for the record.
Yeah.
Just for the record, D-Batch, you just painted a big ass target on your forehead. Relax.
It's all good. I saw what I saw, man.
No, I know. I'm just messing. But did you guys see like kind of like the hints of like a little bit more open world with like the boat and all that stuff moving around?
Kratos was in the back of the boat. Yeah, I did notice. Let's go ahead and move on, Cold Eastwood, to this. And by the way, chat, let us know your thoughts on this, because we like to get your perspectives on these things. You actually are here and are listening to everything we're saying and actually know what we're talking about. So we want to hear your thoughts more than anyone else's. Also, shout out to almost 700 people watch this live already, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 300 for the end of the show, 1,000 after the fact. Share this out for us. Help us grow, find more people that actually are excited for gaming, like to have fun, talk about things like that. Again, Cold Eastwood, Death Stranding console, Handprint McGee over here. What are your thoughts on this thing, and who got into the chocolate sauce?
Yeah, it's... Oh my gosh. I'm getting Death Stranding this year, but I'm not getting a new console. But that console is super ugly. All right. Now... okay.
It's all right. Let it go.
This is difficult for me to say because PlayStation makes the best first-party games. They do all this cool stuff.
In many respects, yeah.
They don't know how to make a custom console. I don't know how this thing went past the conference room and like through a review. This thing's horrible. Like it doesn't look like Death Stranding. I mean, I took one look at it. I'm sorry. I had
so angry.
I was like super sick.
You sound like Gary.
It's really bad because this console, it's white with black handprints, and people are like, oh, it's got the continents and the handprints. Like, oh my gosh, that's like the first thing you learn in graphic design is to take a handprint and put something in it, or a shape like that. It's like whatever. I'm not going to get on my high horse about graphic design.
But what if they're Kojima's handprints?
Now that might be cool. Now look, I just took one look at this thing and I thought, why isn't this thing black a black console with dark gray handprints, so it's kind of hard to see. Why isn't it like laser etched instead of a silk screen or whatever they used? And then the controller is yellow transparent, which is supposed to represent the baby jar. Which fine, everyone's making the P joke. They're making the P joke. Yeah, I know. It's great.
I pistol my controller. The bitch don't squeak no more.
It lights up when he pees, man.
That controller should have been dark blue with the delivery stripes on his uniform. It would have been a perfect console. If it was black with the oily gray handprints and the controller was themed on Sam's why do I think his name's not Sam for some reason?
The guy.
On his outfit, I would have said, well, that's pretty cool. But this thing is so far away from what I think Death Stranding is. But Colt, nobody knows what Death Stranding is. It's a Strand console. I'm upset as a designer that they blew it on this one, and people are gonna buy it like crazy. I just think it could have been way better.
I'm gonna rip this console a new asshole. So to me, I think the Spider-Man one was freaking awesome last year. That's the one I bought. I thought that one looked fucking cool. I think it looks cool still. I love that console. I have that console. This one, just like, what the hell is that? Like, first of all, the pissing in the game and then a yellow controller, just the joke's right itself, right? Like, come on. And then you have like a white console with black shit on it, so somebody wiped their ass on it on top of it. Like, come on, like, what are we doing? Like, I think that was just,
apparently we're wiping our ass on consoles, Zucker.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Somebody over there did, Kojima or somebody, but that just, I don't know. I don't think the console looks good. The game, if you think the game looks cool, that's awesome. But if you say that console looks good with that controller, I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't know what to tell you.
There was Sony do not do custom consoles very well, but they do way more of them, I'll say. I'll give them that. But anywhere from the Call of Duty World War II one with the stolen Chinese 80s camo on it, which wasn't even in World War II, to the Star Wars Battlefront 2 one, which wasn't good. Then they had the Batman one, which I didn't care for myself. The Darth Vader one was fire for Battlefront 1, I think it was. That was a good one. Then you had the Call of Duty, maybe they had the Call of Duty.
Darth Vader one, didn't they have one with the Imperial and Rebel stickers on it?
That was for Battlefront 2, but for Battlefront 1, I think that a Darth Vader one was really fire. But they did also have the God of War one, which, like, again, was fucking horrible. Didn't even make sense for the color scheme of the game. And then the Spider-Man one, which was really good. So they're shooting like 2 for 10 here.
Spider-Man was the best one.
Yeah. Uncharted Bear and Super Chat says, hi, dealer.
I know Zocker loves the Spider-Man one, but it was just a red console with a big white sticker on it.
Still looked dope.
I mean, I get the sticker, but it looks freaking awesome. It's still awesome. I guess it's just Spider-Man.
Uncharted Bear and Super Chat says, hey, dealer. Element Appeal says some things I'm not going to repeat on the show for obvious reasons. We can't go into that. Irrelevant Native. These are, see, I'm telling you, man, Super Chats pop up odd, man. I'm back up here, and these weren't even here before, guys. So just bear with me. That's why I'm always struggling with Super Chats, because they disappear, they appear, and that's what it feels like. And then when I scroll down, it shoots all the way to the bottom of the chat, and then I have to scroll back up, and then here we go again. We're riding the same damn bull. So at the end of the day, Last of Us 2 looks good. The Death Stranding console is trash. We've also got, speaking of trash, some Inside Xbox talk. Honestly, guys, in the chat, you got to admit, Inside Xbox, again, I said it in a recent video, I don't expect much from the conference at all. And just because I think this show wasn't good doesn't mean I don't think it, doesn't mean I think it shouldn't exist. I think that it, again, harkens back to the old Inside Xbox with a higher budget and some more awkward moments and some bad jokes. But at the end of the day, if you're a fan of gaming, they did have some news here for you. It wasn't a good show, let me clarify, but I didn't expect it to be a good show. Yeah, State of Play wasn't good either. State of Play was trash. Last of Us was good, though, there. But we did have Atlas on the stage, that PC game from Studio Wildcard that made Ark Survival Evolve. I said in the party chat, I said they're already false advertising this game, because then the trailer has a solid frame rate. It's not going to be anything like that in the console, man. Those games are always so unoptimized. Fucking Studio Wildcard always launches everything in preview. Even though Ark Survival Evolved sold so many millions of copies, they could have held off and actually finished Atlas instead of launching it in preview and making people, when
I saw the Atlas trailer today, I was like, what game is that? That's not the same Atlas I play on PC.
Well, I mean, it's like a Sea of Thieves but actually really big. It's got base building, ship building, all these creatures, and it's so ambitious. But at the same time, if Studio Wildcard can't be trusted with Ark Survival Evolved, which is questionable.
It runs like Ark, man. This game, like, honestly, to tell you, when I first saw the trailer last year, I think it was at the Game Awards show. I was like, oh shit, Sea of Thieves killer. I was like, oh damn, looks dope. And then when I actually went into the preview, like it's so bad. It's
screen
so
popping
bad.
surprise, motherfucker.
Oh, it's so bad, and I don't know what trailer they showed today. That must be the concept of where they want to get it at in maybe 5 years, because it looks nowhere near as good as that on PC right now. Much less console, and it runs at a horrible frame rate.
Hey, Neon Shinobi says, "Love the podcast. Keep it up. Thank you so much, sir." I mean, Zalker, you are a pirate legend, Sea of Thieves, and I know you realize that these are two different types of game. But you also realize that Atlas was supposed to be a Sea of Thieves killer a year ago, and when that came out for PC, it was nothing but getting shit on. You would have thought the game was just a toilet.
I mean, when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this looks okay." Then I saw who developed it, because I remember me and you we were watching that, I think, together, and we were like this, and you were kind of like laughing, and you're like, "Oh shit, Zalker, Sea of Thieves killer." Then you saw who the developer was, and you're like, "Fuck that, it's gonna be trash." And then that's exactly what you said, and I was like, "Yep." And if you watched all the people, because I remember the beta, I think, came out was when Summit was playing Sea of Thieves, and he got like thousands of subscribers on Twitch playing it, and he kind of revitalized that game and gave it new life. And a lot of people were playing it. People were like, "Oh, let's check out Atlas," because people like pirate shit. Every streamer that was playing it was like literally struggling to keep going because it was so fucking bad. Like, I saw one guy on like a little boat, but he was in the boat, like half his body was in it, the rest was in the water. And the other half was like, it was so glitchy. It was just terrible. And then the frame rate was like messed up. And everybody's like, Sea of Thieves is a killer. And I'm like, no, dude, doesn't even.
This game killed itself.
Does Atlas have the whole Kraken though?
I don't know what they have, to be honest. How are you going to fight a Kraken when you can't even sail to it? Like, how are you going to get to it? Like, if you can't even do anything in the game? Like, it was literally that
Does
bad.
It have dolphins?
I mean, I'll give it that. I'll give it that. The trailer made the game look epic. Yeah. But the problem is, we've seen the game in action. We know how many problems it has, and I don't even know how they got the trailer to run that. Where they got like a fucking 6 Titan Vs and fucking, I don't know what the hell they're running it on. But even the fact that there was no hitching, I mean, it's weird even seeing those games run like that in the trailers. David Robinson says, Colt Dealer Soccer, latest videos is fire. Thank you so much, sir. D-Batch, I'm going to throw you in there too, because, you're my buddy. So your video was fire too, D-Batch. I want you to know that.
D-Batch is always
Watch
fire.
it, Call of Duty multiplayer, fire!
But yeah, in terms of Atlas, I mean, it's coming to Xbox. It's kind of a Sea of Thieves competitor, we'll say, just for now. And that is coming October 8th to Game Preview.
Did Major Nelson look like he didn't want to be there, or that he wasn't like jiving with Jeff today? Did you notice? Like, it seemed like he's just like.
Do you think they had like a pinochle match before the show started? And...
like maybe they thumb wrestled and Jeff Rubenstein has longer thumbs. I don't know. They just didn't. I don't know. I have a lot to say about Inside Xbox and the forced jokes and stuff. It's got to be super hard to deliver super funny and compelling in front of people live with cameras and try to make it professional and stuff. But that show really needs to target 30 minutes. They need to really think about what the core audience wants to see and think about what they need to cut back. I've been saying this for a lot of RDXs when we bring up Inside Xbox, but they really need to look at this and say, do we need to talk about Hitman for 8 minutes, or can that be like 2 minutes?
They talked about Atlas. They talked about Atlas for 15 minutes, man.
Right, I know. And they wanted to interview that guy, which is fine. But you just got to say, hey.
That guy was wearing like a fucking towel, and he had his hair up like Geralt and shit. And I was like, what are you doing, buddy?
He had a budget toga on. I was like, what the hell is that shit?
I just think some oversight looking at that 1 hour budget, that schedule, and just say, hey, what can we do to get this down to 30? What needs to go that, because people don't like seeing some certain things. And, talking about an indie for too long, I don't know. It sounds so ridiculous, but I think, man, if they would have just stopped by and asked me, hey, what should we do? And I would have cut down the show a little bit and said, all right, go ahead. You already did the work. Just cut out some of the stuff and go do the show. Have a good show, guys.
Yeah, I don't watch these shows anymore. I don't even want to watch State of Play anymore. The only reason why I watched it today was just for The Last of Us 2. I could care less about those shows. They're both bad.
You know what, though? I do like the State of Play structure, where it's just basically showing you videos. It's a little bit of talk and it's mostly gameplay and some details, and on to the next one. Where Inside Xbox are kind of forcing the jokes, and I think them doing that, they're not connecting with the audience. Like I was looking at the live stream numbers, there was like at peak times like 14,000, 15,000 people watching Inside Xbox, and the state of play, there was like 130,000, 135,000, something like that at one time watching it. So you're not connecting, with the core gamers or with your audience. You need to change something. The definition of insanity is doing the same shit over and over and over again. We've been saying it for the longest time. The structure. It's what happened to Adam Sessler? Why don't you fucking hire Adam Sessler? You guys are just not in touch, man. Get in touch with the gaming community and what they want, and just deliver it.
Somebody well said. Somebody said in the chat, we need Batman. This reminds me of what you said, that how many people were watching. There was at peak, you said 14,000 people watching.
Yeah.
I saw at least 1,000 repeated comments begging for Banjo-Kazooie in this Inside Xbox. And I want to this is going to be my public service announcement for the day. And I'm not the type of person to drone on and on about something that I'm not interested in, or that I don't like, because I think that's counterproductive to anything, because people like what they like. But 1,000 Xbox fans begging for Banjo-Kazooie right now, when what Xbox needs is to continue to build up those bigger games, the initiative games, the Ninja Theory games, the Coalition 343, like these big AAA blockbuster games that will round out everything that would make Xbox so much more enjoyable. That's missing, and you've got people asking for Conquer and Banjo-Kazooie. Can I just say, please stop doing that, please? And that's about as rude as I'm going to get on it, but shut up.
Jesus Christ.
Shut
your fucking mouth. Hey, that's the most violent that you ever heard Colt Eastwood ever.
Yeah, it is. I feel weird.
I mean, it is frustrating because we've been talking for years about how Xbox needs more mature, narrative-driven, and of course, Microsoft always do a good job of incorporating quality multiplayer into those types of games like Gears and Halo. They've got very good campaigns, right? Along with the pretty much class-leading multiplayer in many cases, right? So when we say more mature narrative-driven single-player games, usually those also come with multiplayer. So we're not saying it can't have multiplayer, but we've been asking for more mature narrative-driven AAA blockbuster games from Microsoft for years. We've talked about how Gears 4 was the last one in fucking 3 years before Gears 5. Gears 5 just came out, absolutely phenomenal, past many expectations. If not for maybe this show, some of you might have been more surprised because you had heard about a lot of the inside stuff that we knew. And some of the leaks as well that kind of prepared you for the open world and the skiff and some of the side stuff and all that. But at the end of the day, like, we have been very big advocates of higher quality experiences, and it is frustrating when Microsoft just had things like Super Lucky's Tale stuff a couple years ago. Nobody's buying that shit. We you need things to kind of stand out, and I feel like Xbox is kind of the console for a lot of hardcore guys that want those types of experiences like Gears of War and the way that campaign was presented. And now with the budget they have, it's like, now's the time to build these big, massive blockbusters, not go back and build a teddy bear game, right? I mean, if you're a fan of Banjo, that's fine, but shit.
I would say this, honestly, as a guy, like everybody in here knows, I love multiplayer and co-op first, but I'm not going to be delusional enough to not think that Xbox, to me, honestly needs 2 to 3 big AAA single player only games. I do think they need that. I think they need that
without multiplayer
to broaden the variety. No, with no multiplayer at all. Something like a God of War.
I mean, even Last of Us 2, which is touted like
focus. Something where you can focus on a character and a story.
Yeah. But even Last of Us, it looks just like being one of the best single player games of all time, has multiplayer.
Yeah, but
it's not like a multiplayer that people are like, oh my god, like they're pounding the fucking table for it every time it comes up. They're
listen
not
to
doing
Zocker. Like Zocker's making a good point, dealer. He's saying like more than likely Ninja Theory will be the ones that will deliver the AAA first party single player game that won't have multiplayer. Like they'll have Bleeding Edge, but their other game, right, Zocker, might not even have multiplayer, and they're just going to put all of their entire team. I mean, Gears put Splash.
Well, like what I'm saying is that like they'll have like next year, for an example, right? like Halo's coming out, or the year after that, Forza's coming out. Like those are multiplayer driven games where you have fun with your friends. Like you can have those, and I want those. I actually need those because that's what I enjoy. I see gaming as a social interaction with my friends. That's how I treat gaming. But at the same time, I do understand in the same year, why not release a single player only game that I can enjoy still with my friends, but not in the same level, where it's like you concentrate on just the single player aspect of it and build a world, build like a story and characters that people could get attached to. That's what I want, something like that.
100%.
And I get it. Like, and this is coming from, and people are like, oh, same. No, this is coming from somebody that loves multiplayer more than single player. I love playing co-op and single and multiplayer games more than most people. And that's coming from me.
They need that.
Do need that.
You know, I'm a single player focused guy. I like single player games, so I want to see more of that coming from Xbox myself. Like you don't have to abandon your big followers that love those multiplayer games, but you have to cater to other gamers as well. If you want to expand the brand, you got to do the work.
Which I will say they're doing, like Colt pointed out, that Ninja Theory stuff. Restored Hades basically says, hey, I like Inside Xbox the way it is because you do get those developer interviews, stuff like that, and it's not going to be for everyone. And by the way, he says, great panel, everybody tonight, fire. Thank you so much, Restored Hades. We do appreciate it. It's okay to disagree. That's what people gotta understand. Well, Shady says, no need to have a single player only game. Modes don't really affect the campaign. We did just see that with Gears of War 5. We have seen that with Last of Us and Uncharted. It's not necessary to cut out the multiplayer if it's quality.
Well, I mean,
that's what go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead, Tim. I just think that, like, to say, we don't listen. We know that's what they need, but to draw a line in the sand and say, well, you can't have this certain banjo game is in my opinion, it doesn't make sense either, because you got to look at the studios and what they do. Banjo is a game that Rare would make. Okay, that game's not a game that Ninja Theory is going to make. An open world RPG, that type of game is going to be Obsidian. So you got to look at the studios and what you can get from them. Now, the new studio initiative, you could possibly get exactly what you guys are talking about. Now, listen, like Shady said, just because the game has a multiplayer, for some reason, I think a lot of people put a minus to the single player. And Gears 5 proves this, and I think Halo also will prove this. You can have a full onset campaign and have a full onset, 4 modes or 5 modes of multiplayer. That's great. That's more value. That's more game time. So there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with people asking for Banjo, because I got news for you. There's a lot of people that want Banjo.
I think that you're wrong though, in thinking that Rare is going to make Banjo. If you
well,
I'm
just saying
what studio though. Like I think they outsourced that maybe to a third or second party developer, but Rare just made Sea of Thieves, which I'm sorry, people,
past Banjo at this point.
It's past that. To me, it's past that. Like they have a multiplayer open world game where you can fucking troll people and make them rage quit. Like that's
right. Well, that's what they made. But you get my point. Is what kind of type of game you're going to get from the type of studio.
I don't think you do. I don't think these new studios. I don't think we know what we're going to get. I don't. I think they have different resources that they never had before. They have.
They are making one other game at most. One at the least. So it could be they are doing Banjo and they're doing two at another project.
I think Xbox needs some new IP. I don't think anybody's done an amazing job with IP this generation. Honestly, there might be one or two here or there, but I think Banjo's fine if you contract it out and instead of building a new one, even maybe put another team, a contracted team, an outside team on a remaster of the first one and revamp it with all new technology or something, and see if the fans engage with that, and if there's a lot of sales and people love it and it's quality, which it should be hopefully, then maybe consider rebooting it. But I think it's been too long for a sequel. I think they can reboot this at this point if they were to spend money on that.
Probably time has passed. It definitely, when Luca Lee and that Alien game, with that game that came out, I forgot what it was called, but there was a lot of hype around that game. If you don't remember, it didn't do well when it came, but when it was announced in the fundraiser or the crowdfunding game, that was people going crazy. So I do think that it's a type of an IP that you got to strike while the iron's hot. But my point is just that you're going to have different studios doing different type things. The single player mature type games, probably Xbox, could use another studio making them, and hopefully initiative is doing that, because I think that's what we want most. But it's fine also having a variety of games.
Well, so far so good with Gears. And then we got Outer Worlds next month. David Robinson says, yo, I don't know if he's just now hearing that part of the show or if there's super chat delay or what, but he says, yo, that's how Major Nelson acted when I met him at the New York launch for the Xbox One X. Kind of standoffish. Rod, Phil, and Greenberg were good people, though. Yeah, he had a blast. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard stories. But at the end of the day, when it comes to single player stuff, we want the biggest and best stuff. We all loved God of War, Spider-Man, things like that. And we only talk about how good they are because we want competition in that area.
Yeah, I think I just want to add to the conversation and just say, like, I personally feel like Gears 5 is a great step into the direction that Microsoft is headed. That, to me, I know people are like, well, it's just Gears. Gears has been around forever. But the things that they have changed within Gears, the story within Gears 5, the gameplay, the added new mechanics, everything that about Gears 5 is a great move in the right direction for Xbox. I think this is a great start for them. And if this is any indication, we're in for a treat coming from Xbox next gen. I think we're going to get some great single player experiences, and I just think people need to just relax and not be so irrational.
And use your own logic, right? To destroy your own fucking logic, right? Because by your logic, Gran Turismo Sport should be lit on fire and flushed down the toilet. Like, Gears is just Gears, even though it's the highest rated Gears this generation. Personally, I think it should be higher. We didn't have the bug issues before launch that some others did, though, so maybe their experience was affected. But at the end of the day, this took Gears further in the right direction than any Gears before, in my opinion. It was the biggest evolution of the series. I think it was the best acted. The story was great. The multiplayer is fire. All that stuff, right? And it's an 80, 85, 86. But GT Sport comes out. They take 1,000 cars away. It's a 75 on Metacritic, but nobody says, well, GT Gran Turismo should just wrap it up. Like, just use your own logic for a second.
Yeah,
Park in the garage.
And that's what irritates me about when you hear people say, like, well, Gears 5 is just like, the old Gears with a fresh coat of paint. Any franchise out there that basically does the same thing in every game, you have the same mechanics or similar mechanics, is going to be you could say that about them too. You can say it's the same game with a fresh coat of paint. Franchises usually stay the same unless it's like a total departure, like God of War PS4.
That's a very rare exception, but that's only people that say that is when they don't like the franchise and they need to damage control. You could say that about Uncharted 4 if you hated Uncharted or PlayStation, but people who say things like that are just clowns, really. Sorry.
Yeah. But I just don't see the doom and gloom right now for Xbox, especially with all the changes that they're trying to implement here. Matter of fact, just a shameless plug, but I am making a video on this as well. I just need to calm down.
Shoguns, by the way, in the super chat says cheers. Tim, what were you saying?
No, that was me. I just want to say real quick, Gears 5 for me is a classic. I don't want to put any spoilers out there, but there's some things that happened in the game that caught me off guard. I was like, oh shit, this is serious, So I think it was one of the best Gears that they've ever made. I think the progression
it's the best.
The progression that they've made with the storytelling, with the environments, getting rid of the clunky movement. It was so much faster, 60 frames per second. The graphics looked incredible.
That shit was fire.
Both on the X and the PC, the HDR, it was just it's a must play. It's a must play. And I gotta say, for me right now, it's up there for contender of Game of the Year. I'm not saying it's gonna win Game of the Year. I'm saying that it should be in the conversation. The game's fantastic, man.
Yeah, shout out to BitCloud Gaming as well. He also liked Gears 5 as well. You got certain motherfuckers that keep it real in the community a lot more than others, and that's the people who I pay attention to. So if it's a good game, it's a good game, man. I don't care what system it's on. Like, if Nintendo came out with some shit, and I'm like, oh my god, there's a fucking Witcher game I can only play on Nintendo, and I play it and it's good, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, it would suck because I can't play it on the X, or whatever's out at the time, but and it's a Nintendo. But
those swarm things, those were a pain in the ass, man.
Yeah,
those blocks.
They were so cool, though.
Hey, let's before we get too sidetracked, we got other topics as well, and we got more on Inside Xbox as well. Again, chat, let us know your thoughts. Share this with a buddy or two if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. We do appreciate it. Xcloud public preview starting in October. They're finally actually giving some information on this. I get a lot of DMs about this because they kind of went dead silent on this. But public preview starts in October. Sign-ups start today for certain regions. I forget what they are. I wasn't able to jot them down at the time. But they just want what regions were those, Colt?
US, UK, and Korea.
All right. And they wanted to reemphasize that when you're playing on Xcloud, you'll have cross-save, you'll have cross-play, and you'll be able to actually keep your achievements. All your games will kind of carry through and all that stuff as well. And they also said that you'll need a Bluetooth controller and an Android phone for now. It's only on Android for now. They are doing a slow rollout, and you can actually sign up for that at xbox.com/game streaming. And D said he wasn't able to get on that site, right?
Yeah, but it's making sense now if Colt's saying it's not available in Canada, so it's probably because it's not available in my region.
Oh, that's
They
right.
said,
But
fuck you,
there,
Ben.
but there
I had the
are
same
ways
problem.
around that, so I will get
Get wrecked. And I'm joking.
No, I had the same problem with the website. Another thing is,
okay.
I don't know if it's because I was trying to connect via my iPhone and that's iOS, but I couldn't get on it. I tried like a bunch of times.
It just takes you to the home screen for me. Like, I
yeah,
tried
it
on
just
my
was
phone,
like, yeah.
PC.
It was probably getting hit pretty hard.
I think the link is not active, to be really honest with you.
No, I
That's
signed
like-
up.
Oh, you
I
did
got-
sign up.
Yeah, I got my email saying we'll get back to you in the next few months.
Shoot. Okay.
That's what it
Jeez.
said.
Hey guys,
VPN time. Yay.
I'm sorry to butt in, but I'm going to have to run. I got some family stuff to do, but it's been fun, and I hope everybody continues to listen and hit that like button.
Yeah. Thanks
for the
for joining us,
plug,
Fonz. Thanks
Thanks
for
for
being
dropping
here.
in.
Thanks, Fonz.
Later, downgrade.
Later.
You know what? I'm gonna have to tell the wife I need to stay just to get you, Zucker.
Now, when
Zucker?
everyone
See
just
the-
know that Fonz said that Last of Us 2 is downgraded before he leaves.
Yep.
We just
Yeah,
need to-
that was him. That was him.
Anyway,
That was him.
no,
Said it was a
brother.
major
No,
downgrade,
Fonz
actually.
didn't
That's
say
what-
that. Fonz didn't say that.
We should talk about
what I
we should
did
talk
say though. What I did say though.
His
is
Twitter is.
Sea of Thieves is one huge downgrade. How about that?
Hey,
Oh,
there we go.
shoot. Hey.
Hey, let's go ahead and thanks for joining us, Fonz, man. Be careful out there. Let's go ahead and move forward.
we should talk about this Android thing because people are saying why is Microsoft trying to bring everybody together, but they're going to cut half of the mobile users away by not putting
Well,
Xcloud on
as
iOS.
I said,
Because they're starting
they're
there.
rolling it out on Android first, but it'll be on iOS eventually. So I wouldn't worry about that, guys. It's too big of an install base to ignore, and their plan is to get to every gamer that's on mobile, right? So for them to ignore iOS would be insane.
And it's easier for them to implement an Android right away because the controllers work with it. Like an Xbox controller will work with it. So it's a lot more streamlined for them. But iOS.
Is Apple going to be cool with this with Apple Arcade?
See,
I
that
think
could
so.
be. Yeah, why not? Because it's another reason to get an Apple device for the users that want this service, right?
I had asked some internal channels, back channels, and I had asked that same question. This is a while back, and the answer that I basically was told that if they weren't going to, if they're not going to be a part of it, be a part of the, or trying to get iOS, if they're not going to be a part of it, why even try? They're looking to get it. It's just going to take time. It's probably going to take a deal. But it's going to get done.
I mean, are they allowed to not allow an app like that? I mean, it's not doing anything illegal or anything.
They could probably block it from the store, but I just think this is more of a test case scenario, and I'm assured, and I think that everyone listening to the show can pretty much be assured, if you have an iOS, you can hold out and you're going to get support. In the meantime, if you really want Android support, you can buy a tablet. It does work on a tablet, but depending on how your internet provider is, or if you have hotspots and stuff like that, and you want to test it out, you could try it out that way.
And an Android tablet.
Yeah.
An Android tablet is much cheaper than if it was the other way around and you had to get an iPhone or an iPod,
right,
or an Apple tablet, or whatever they call
Or-
it. An iPad.
What about your old beater Android phones? It'll work on that too.
Yeah.
It has to be
I have an S8. Yeah.
It has to be a 4G enabled device, yeah. But I mean, you can get tablets for $80 or cheaper. like off-brand tablet. I mean, RCA makes a tablet that has the Android operating system.
RCA, aren't they like the best?
Zenith.
And also too, you can buy like a $2 clip on Amazon, eBay that you can clip your controller onto your phone and just.
I'm just saying that because if I try Xcloud, I probably would like to try it on a tablet, not on a phone. I have a Note 9, which is a big screen, but I would like to try it on a bigger screen.
Luca was DMing me about how to get all the super chats on the screen at once, and I had this issue, so thank you very much. I'll look into that. Tasteless Genie says, I signed up twice. Thank you very much. But regarding Xcloud, I mean, let us know if you're going to use it in the chat. I'm not necessarily. I've always said
I just signed up.
I'll never use it unless it's a last resort. I always prefer physical hardware. So let us know if you'll be using it. I mean, just because I don't want to use it unless I have to doesn't mean that you have to feel the same way. That's the beauty of it. So let us know down below. We're going to go ahead and move forward into Xbox games that were kind of revealed for Game Pass, and they did talk about Game Pass PC with the games like Dirt Rally 2.0 and a lot of the same stuff that was actually on Xbox. I said, instead of just summing all it up here and going over it, I did a video a couple days ago. Just check that out. It's got a lot of those games on there already. Outer Worlds trailer. I actually enjoyed this trailer for the most part. They did have a new Outer Worlds trailer that kind of showcased some of the options, and I was a little bit more excited by it. Along with the developer interview, Hades was talking about this. Little developer interviews like this, they give you a little bit more context, some insight on the game and their thought process behind it. The shrink ray and all that stuff. Colt didn't get to see it, but I did get to see it, and I actually thought it was pretty well done. I'm actually looking forward to that game more because of that trailer. Not a whole ton more, but I'm still looking forward to it more. Did anybody else see it?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I think real quick, I just think it's gonna appeal to like all those Fallout 76 fans that were just disappointed. I think it's gonna appeal to that crowd, and it's not really my type of game, but the trailer was so well presented, and of course it's in Game Pass. I'm actually gonna give it a try.
Oh wow!
I like the one thing I notice every time I see Outer Worlds is that it's very colorful. That's what I enjoyed. I think the colors are really cool. Like maybe I'm not the biggest Fallout fan. Like I played 3, I played 4 a little bit, but it doesn't really grab me as much as like Elder Scrolls. But that Fallout just seems very dull, like in the world, like because it's they're in freaking
drab looking.
Yeah, it's just very drab. But this like Outer Worlds just looks cool, like colorful, and just like I don't know, it's just like really cool. Like the little creature they were fighting, and the guy like freaking like kicks it in the freaking face and shit. Like I was just kind of like, this is kind of like out there. Like it just seems a little different, a little out there, and I'm looking forward to playing it. And we can in Game Pass. So
yeah,
that's
that
awesome.
game's gonna look crazy if it has HDR, which it should.
Yeah, dude,
it should have HDR.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to, is because I think Borderlands, that's one of the things I actually really enjoyed, is I think they have good HDR with color.
Yeah.
And I think the color looks really nice in some areas where you're just kind of like, whoa, this is really good. And Gears of War to me is like the best I've seen ever. And then, yeah, I hope Outer Worlds has the same thing. I hope it looks amazing.
They also showcased some Xbox Forza Horizon 4 bundles. A year later, they're kind of bundling this up again for, what is
Hell
it?
Yeah.
The X is $399 now, right, Colt?
Mm-hmm.
Which is like interesting. They're finally. I mean, they need to drop it to that price full time. Like it should have been.
They've had it that price a few times. Yeah, you're right. They do.
It's been 2 years almost. Like it's time, Microsoft. You need to drop the price of the X. And they also did a. Go ahead.
For Colt, how's your cereal?
Shut up, Zocker.
Oh, here's clink, clink.
At least I don't eat popcorn with a spoon.
Moving on. Go ahead. Sorry, dealer. I had a troll.
Yeah, dealer's like totally lost now.
Dealer just spiked his headphones.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about the X and that thing should have been cheaper a long time ago. But they, the Forza Horizon 4 bundle is not really doing it for us right now, Microsoft. I mean, it's good for newcomers, but doesn't really, it's not even really worth announcing. Ghost Recon behind the scenes was actually kind of interesting. I wasn't really thinking about playing this game, but Brian Harris messaged me about it, and then I was talking to Colt and was like, we might play it. Depends on what's out. I got Grid Ultimate Edition coming, stuff like that. But Ghost Recon behind the scenes was kind of interesting as well if you missed it. Now, let's move forward to what WB Montreal are teasing and have been teasing for what seems like 8 months now. But they're finally ramping it up. And by the way, we have to give a shout out to well over 700 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get up to 300 for the end of the show, 1,000 after the fact. We do appreciate it. If you got any friends that are into Xbox or any kind of gaming related stuff like this, maybe show them the show and ask them what they think. Let us know. All that stuff really helps. But again, Batman, WB Montreal officially teasing the Court of Owls once again, and this way in a bigger way than ever. And we were thinking, man, and of course there's frauds messaging everyone. Sony has an exclusive deal for a year with Batman and all this stuff. And just making shit up. But at the end of the day, they didn't show anything about this Batman game today. And it's like, Warner Brothers, when the hell are you going to show this thing off? Like, we're ready. It's been 4 years, right?
Never.
I mean, I'm starting to believe it. Never. Like, I expected it to be pretty soon, given all the teasing. But, I mean, Zonker, you're pretty well versed in the Court of Owls stuff. Is it time?
Dude, I don't know. Like, I mean, we've been talking about this since before E3, like everything. We just think it's coming, but it just never does. And then Warner Bros. Montreal puts out a freaking tweet, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's fucking coming this Tuesday!" Like, it has to. Like, why else would they put a tweet out? And so, a lot of the stuff that they've shown in there, though, is not just Court of Owls. The symbols within it are Court of Owls, the League of Shadows, and if you look at it, sometimes like they actually have the Ark of Night symbol in there. So a lot of people are kind of confused of what the hell's happening. Like, for sure, I saw the League of Shadows and the Court of Owls symbols. So that's actually like it's kind of confirmed almost. I just don't know what the hell they're showing. I don't know the time period. Like, I just want to see the damn game.
I know.
I feel like it's going to be like kind of like the last big game for this gen, for these consoles. Like, it's going to be here, this big game, and then maybe bring it out for the next consoles a little more enhanced, kind of like what Last of Us did and GTA did. Maybe they're going for that strategy, but either way, I just want to fucking see it. Like, let me just see it. Like, just announce it at this point. Like, we're waiting.
Let me play it.
Yeah, how many times have we done this?
Yeah, like we've been talking about this damn game for a while, and then Warner Brothers pull out of E3, and then Roger Craig Smith, we talked about last week, was teasing it on his Twitter. WB publicist said the cat will be out of the bag soon. Then we get an official tweet on the after an Instagram post from them, which their Instagram, by the way, their Instagram says we work on AAA DC Universe video games, basically. We know it's a big budget Batman game. It is essentially a sequel or a prequel, and it's going to be Mega Davo with the funniest super chat all day. Congratulations, dealer. You have more viewers than Inside Xbox.
Wow.
Rude.
Oh, man. It's kind of funny. I gotta give it. You got to give it to him.
Isn't it kind of crazy, too, that they gave the Batman games away for free in the Epic Store on top of it?
Yeah,
everything like every fucking thing is pointing toward it. Like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening?
I think what happened, to be honest with you, I think The Last of Us 2, they kind of let this day be of its own. Because if it came out today, of course people would talk about it, but still people are talking about The Last of Us 2. If you come out on another day, like say tomorrow or Friday, people are going to be more concentrating on Batman.
Listen, D-Batch.
I think it's time.
I'm sorry to break it to you. Batman's greater than Last of Us. I'm saying as a brand. I'm saying as a brand, as a character.
As a brand, like, yeah, much larger.
As his brand, much larger. I'm not saying their games are great. I'm saying that the brand is bigger. They had his 80th birthday, right? Like, he's 80 years old now. Batman.
That's an old
like,
fuck.
Characters.
Damn.
That's an old ass man fighting.
I want an 80-year-old. I want an 80-year-old Batman skin.
An 80-year-old Batman skin with a little bat walker.
Alfred is younger than Bruce Wayne.
Benjamin Button effect on Alfred.
Hey, I got to give a shout out to Jason Spears in the super chat. Failed Pyromancer also says, "Dealer, do you really want a new Batman game? Though I feel like we need new DC characters to get some new ideas and gameplay." Well, I mean, I didn't mind that there was another Spider-Man game. There's way more Spider-Man games than Batman games out there. The Batman games just happen to pioneer the genre of superhero games, and they still do it arguably the best out of anyone. So I definitely want a new Batman game, but I also might want a new X or Y DC hero game as well.
Honestly, I want a Wonder Woman game. I think that would be fucking badass.
But hey, shout out to Failed Pyromancer for commenting. We do talk occasionally on Twitter when some fuck shit's going down. Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking forward to a new AAA Batman game, man. I'm very excited for it. It's probably my most anticipated game in a long time. Like, if that game came out this year, it would be my most anticipated this year. I mean, Arkham is like probably one of my top franchises ever. I've beaten those games more than any other set of games, and I beat them on multiple platforms. And it's just a game that I can go through with my eyes closed at this point.
But do you say
This is, how
that's your
much
number
dealer, this
one?
is how much dealer loves the game. He's literally bought multiple copies for people.
Yeah,
He's like,
hey,
you haven't
hey,
played
have
the
you tried
Batman
this?
game?
No,
He's
here
all
you go.
Gifted. He's like, you haven't played it? Here you go, gifted. He's like, play it, please. Like, Jesus. man.
Philly Eagle said he wants an Aquaman game. Now that Aquaman movie was good.
As
If
long
you
as
get
you can
somebody
do like the boys and the dolphin flies with the windshield and stuff. I mean, that would be interesting. Maybe.
Oh my God. You're such a
Get
fuckface.
started.
So isn't it true that the only two really good superhero games are Spider-Man and Batman? Like,
there was
really
there was an X-Men Wolverine game that was actually pretty good back in the day. There was a Captain
It was
America.
what year?
It was a Hulk and it was okay. I remember.
There was a whole game, Ultimate Destruction or something like
It's
that.
crazy.
Well,
I mean, in the past 10
Ultimate
years-
Alliance game, Marvel's Ultimate Alliance games were cool when you could play with your buddies like co-op. I forgot. Those were back in
Yeah,
the
I mean,
day,
but
that
you
was
know what I mean. Like Arkham and
Arkham is the league. Arkham City is a 96 Metascore, guys. In case you don't know, on PlayStation 3. I mean,
See, that's something that can't go wrong, in my opinion. When you have superheroes, like you talk about some of these failed games, but like if you have it like Aquaman, just say, and they say you're green lighted for the game. If you put a really good developer on that game's going to sell a ton, and it's going to be huge, and it's going to be like the way I've never seen dealer get more excited than anything more than Batman. I remember him hitting me up 2 years ago talking like, I think we're going to get Batman news or whatever. You know, he is. This is what he, you know, is what he's about. But there's so many people like him, is because the likeness of these superheroes, they're just slam dunks for video games. I just never understood why
they can be. Yeah.
Yeah, they can be. Really, if you put a good studio like an Insomniac, or let's just say you would take any studio that's, you know, like a good studio, they're gonna make a good superhero game. And even if they like made a good one, it still has like, you know, it just because of what it is and the likeness of the game, it has like a little bit of a handicap in that. You know, most people are going to just like it if the game is halfway decent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they failed in the past due to level design. Some of the level designs, Superman, for instance, the level design was horrible.
Well, how you gonna travel at the speed, like at a speeding bullet, and then fly around and have everything load in, right? I think technology has been kind of a limit to what these people can actually create with these superheroes. I think Batman's and Spider-Man are really the best fits because of everything. Like, you're not Batman, you're not zooming around everywhere like the Flash or like Superman.
Only when
I
you're
think they
fighting
did-
on the ground.
Yeah, and then Wonder Woman, she's awesome. Like, she's a good character or any other character, but they're not that popular. Like, you got to understand the last 10, 15 years is when the movies started making these new characters, so to speak, or these comic characters a lot more popular in the pop culture.
Chris Seppenfield, he says, best Xbox podcast that I know of. Thank you very much, Chris. We do appreciate it. Element
And I
Appeal
know
says,
two of them.
Element Appeal says it's clear Last of Us 2 is pushing narrative boundaries and what it wants the players to experience. Hey, Cultist, do you think that the game may be pushing some ideas too far?
On The Last of Us?
Last of Us 2. I mean, if you saw the trailer, you know
well, I
that
mean,
there's
last
some
time-
very mature.
You know, it's very funny. Last time we talked about this, like, I don't know, 6 months ago, when I talked about how brutally violent and hard to watch that trailer was, when they were breaking elbows and put the knife up to the girl's stomach. People made fun of me that I was too weak, but you know, that's a testament to how brutally violent something can be portrayed so realistically. Yeah, there is one part in there that was really difficult to watch on today's trailer. I'll just say it, and people will make fun of me, of course, but some people are different, I guess. Yeah, that's really. How do I keep this general? But I'll keep it general, obviously. But somebody was like, "It's a rated M game. Let Naughty Dog do what they want to do." I'm like, well, you know, certain things don't need to be in video games, you know. But then
I don't mind that it's in video games, but that doesn't mean you can't acknowledge the fact that it's so well acted that when you're watching a guy beg for his life and he's being hung and he gets his guts stabbed out and it's dangling and he's like, it's so well acted, you're really watching someone and hearing someone die. It's kind of a compliment.
That's almost nothing compared to Ellie's face when she was pinned down today in that trailer. Really difficult for me to watch. That stuff really hits home. It's really realistic, well done, realistic stuff. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's always gonna try to take something like that and turn it into something it wasn't.
I don't care, honestly, but
Yeah.
I mean, that is, Naughty Dog, you can't do that. You can't go that realistic and that brutal unless you have the talent to pull it off with realism. Otherwise it can come off corny or it can come off half-baked. Naughty Dog doesn't do that. Like, they can make it work. And obviously, from what we've seen so far, they can take something brutal and make it look like it's supposed to be brutal.
Yeah.
Well, it's the difference between, so Naughty Dog to me is like extremely high class, where they make something believable to you. Like, they give, like, I know it's going to sound weird, but they honestly give respect to the violence that you're seeing. Like, this happens around the world, and you need to understand that this shouldn't be desensitized. That's the way I think they depict it. When you have Michael Bay, on the other hand, who like just makes everything explosion and jokes and people are having fun, and it makes violence a lot more approachable to everybody.
See, here's the problem,
That's the
Zucker.
difference.
Here's the problem. We got people like Theon here who aren't fucking listening. Y'all are complaining about this game, but isn't Gears? We're not fucking complaining. Can you hear? Can you hear me right now? We're not complaining. What? We're saying that it's so realistic and so well done that it can be jarring to watch someone get their arm smashed in with a hammer. Yeah. That's not a complaint.
There's a massive difference of chainsawing a locust in half or hooking them with a grenade in Gears to what I'm talking about that Naughty Dog is able to pull off. And if people listen to the words I'm saying, this is a massive compliment. And this is something you're not going to see on very many games.
And that's just the problem with people that fucking pop in here and you take your stupid little clips and on your dog shit Twitter feed and think that you actually fucking matter when it comes to trying to disparage people because you don't pay attention. Actually listen, all right? You're so busy with your fucking fanboy shit that you can't even listen to what Colt's saying. Nobody's complaining about the fucking game. We already said it's going to be a fucking amazing game, like all Naughty Dog stuff, probably the top studio in the world. It's not that hard.
You have to pull your head out of the console war for a few minutes to listen to people talk about games. Like, we love this hobby. We love these games. We're excited about playing them. And when I speak, I usually mean exactly what I say. I try to be very concise and succinct about what I'm saying. And to see somebody come in and go, "Oh, this is your damage control."
Hey, Shogun
says,
says,
the best developer in the world, dude. Double Fine has something.
Shogun says, here's the tissue for Colt, LOL, JK. I mean,
Someone said, "Is Colt gonna cry?" I mean, I take stuff seriously. When I watch movies, I get into it. When I play games, if it's a good game like that, if it's a serious game, I get into it. I like stuff like that. But there's also people in the chat that probably don't like the compliments towards Sony stuff. I mean, that stuff's long gone, guys. Long gone.
That don't like the compliments? Yeah, I mean, again, if you've been listening to the show,
Xbox
then...
guys, like, quit, stop, you've said enough nice stuff about PlayStation for 3 minutes. It's like, well, I mean, this is what we do.
Yeah,
good stuff is good stuff.
You're always better off giving credit when it's due. Do I think Sony guys do that? They don't. I'm sorry, and maybe those are what those guys are. Their mentality is like, well, if they don't, then we shouldn't. But you know what? Be the better person.
It separates us from that other side of the community who would never give props to anything Microsoft do. We don't like that from them, so we're not going to be hypocrites and do it ourselves, right? Makes sense.
If you're a gamer and you saw this game today, there's no way in hell you can say this game looks bad. That it's
right.
It looks amazing, and the realism is there. Like, you were really, I don't know, I was gut wrenched at the pain that she was in. It's like, damn.
Thank you.
You're feeling it, D-Batch.
They're gonna cap that person right in front of her. Oh shit, they did it.
No, that's not why you're gut wrench. You're gut wrench.
And when she was sitting in the room, like with her shirt off, it's like the realism. Like, she's sitting there pondering. She doesn't give a shit at this moment. You know what I'm saying? And like how she wanted to go out and get revenge, and at the end, seeing Joel, like, how could you not be invested and want to play this game? Seriously.
Hey, King Arakan Gaming. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right, brother.
Joel,
he says they hear what they. Of course, my mouse goes haywire right now. They hear basically what they want to hear, and that's absolutely true. It's kind of sad. And of course, Rumple Foreskin here to scar us all with that really blurry picture. He says,
Dealer hopes it's blurry.
He says, great show, guys. Thank you so much. But you know, we are kind of back on Last of Us because of a super chat. But we do have other topics to cover.
Hey, let me close my statement because, you know, I got emotional. I was getting choked up in the moment, but I watched John Wick 1 like a year ago, like when it had been out a little while. And we had just gotten a dog, our first dog. Like I didn't have dogs since I was like 13. And that opening scene, that gutted me because before it probably wouldn't have. But since I had a dog, I turned all soft. So maybe that's why I got emotional today, because I got a dog.
Hey, Tim Dog, real quick, because we'll make this a quick one. The show's kind of run long. We got other great topics to cover. Xbox no longer revealing active user stuff like that. Instead, they're focusing on overall growth, which is really what the investors would care about, right? What are your thoughts on this and people trying to spin this as a negative, even though it really still tells investors everything they want to know?
Right. Well, this is a thing that's coming from Microsoft itself. They're making their guidelines, and they're doing it for basically the investors, just like you said. The idea is the people that are playing are more apt to buy into the ecosystem, spend money basically. So any active user or any active person playing the game is more of a worthy stat than somebody who buys the game and just lets it collect dust, which we know there's a lot of people that do that. They buy the game and they don't play it or whatever the case is. So this is just the new metric that they're using. This is what they're using for basically the company Streamline. This is them doing it. It's not people who are trying to say it's trying to damage controls, Xbox. It's not that, because it's the company, the way that they're doing the same thing with the way they view the cloud. Like I was told with the cloud when I had asked, this is, would you make the cloud compute, exclusive to Xbox? And they said that that's not the objective here. The objective is to get as many people on the cloud using it at any given time. And this is the same thing here with gamers. If you're a gamer and you're playing and you're engaged, you might buy that DLC. You might buy something on the store. You might buy another game. So that is just basically the logic, and it's sound logic. And if Wall Street doesn't have a problem with it, and they're fine and dandy with it, and they're looking at the numbers and they see it as an acceptable metric, why the hell would any else be questioning it? And the question is because there's just people trying to make up these narratives, but that one is a stupid one. That one, like, I see people arguing about it, and I just laugh because that's just the way it's going to be. But
isn't it odd, though, Tim, that if they didn't go this route, right, where they're not revealing active monthly users, right, is it true or false that when games like Minecraft Earth hit and when Gears Pop was released, where you need to sign into an Xbox Live account to play them, don't those mobile games boost Xbox Live active users dramatically? Wouldn't the numbers look better if they didn't hide them?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I agree 100%. It's just like I said, it's just a metric that they're using, and in my opinion, it's a sound metric, because the more people that are on your ecosystem are more people that are going to be, putting money back into the ecosystem, rather than just say a one physical sale one time that you can't track. This is just more of a way to track the users, and that's the way they're going about it. Like I said, there's no damage control here or anything. They're doing this company wide. They're doing this from Windows to Azure to Xbox. It's just something that they've been pushing for, and this is the way they're structured. So
yeah, Neverland says, why can't Xbox show us real numbers people want to see? For one, normal people don't give two shits about this. That's what you got to realize. Secondly, these numbers were and are not for you. It's none of your business.
They're not for the console war.
It's not. It's actually none of your business. It's for investors, stuff like that, where you'll have access to more stuff. But at the end of the day, like, this stuff, it would only look better if they didn't hide the numbers. Xbox Live monthly users would be way up because of mobile games. So, are they really hiding it because it's doing so bad, even though we know for a fact it would go up, or not? Shogun says, Dealer, you really need a call-in option for the super chat stuff. I don't know, man. I've heard some stuff before where people do that, and it's like you're sitting there for 5 minutes waiting for somebody to get a question out, man. It doesn't help the pacing, but we will think about it, or try to figure it out, rather. and get back to you guys on that. But active users, Tim, it is what it is. Some people are trying to spin it, but at the end of the day, their users would look better if they didn't hide it because of mobile anyway. None of that stuff really matters. Take it how you will. Now, when it comes to Xbox's new studio, right? We're in the title there. Well, I put that in there because there was a guy that predicted that Microsoft were buying, and this is, I'll say it first and foremost, take this as a big-ass football-sized grain of salt because I'm not sure I buy it either at all. Actually, I don't. The guy that predicted that Double Fine was going to be purchased and when it would be announced and whatnot, he basically called that correctly. He said that their next acquisitions will be the White Owl Studio, right? Which we had kind of heard rumors of, right, Tim?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and Gearbox, which I don't buy for a second.
No.
Especially given the fact that Borderlands 3 has already sold more than 5 million copies. This is something I hear people talking about and stuff, and I figured I would address it on the show. But Borderlands 3 has already sold over 5 million copies, and digital shares were over 70% of those copies as well. Cole, that's kind of odd because, you know, people trying to run with dog shit physical numbers that are 0.05% of the overall number that's revealed for users. It doesn't really make sense, especially when we're talking about how digital is a big deal and somebody's watching a show in the background.
D-Batch, what are you doing?
Is that D?
Watching Golden Girls.
Talented!
D-Batch is such a fraud. So I mean, if they did happen to ever acquire Gearbox, that would be absolutely massive. Borderlands 3 is definitely doing so much better than I thought it would be doing. Did you even hear the question, Bud? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I heard the question, but what else do they make apart from Borderlands?
Nothing. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, the problem
All
is
of their
they
games-
do make
and
other
that's
things,
what I was
and
gonna
those other
bring.
things
All of
always
their-
do badly.
Yeah.
And so
all
what
their
are they gonna? They're
projects
gonna
have
give us
been
a bunch
failures.
of like cell shaded games? Like what the fuck?
No, they
I-
don't.
I- that
They don't
makes
do
sense.
that. They make Borderlands, and then they've made Aliens: Colonial Marines. They bought Duke Nukem with a 15-year development, just like, you know,
I
closed
think
up all the
Sega
ends.
made
and put a-
Alien. That was kind of, they outsourced it.
Right, and they also helped fund the finalization, if that's a word, of Compulsion's We Happy Few. So Gearbox just like looks for ways to make money and publish a game and put their money behind it to make a profit, to turn a profit. But Gearbox is Borderlands is their only IP, their only true
Well,
IP.
it's not even just their IP; it's that they've struggled to break away from that IP. If you look at it, it seems like after Borderlands 2, they tried to by making what was that, Battleborn? is it?
Battleborn.
Battleborn.
Is-
They
Yeah,
tried
it's a fun
making
game, though.
they tried making other games and they just couldn't break away. And then they bring out, you know, Borderlands 3 and just 5 million, and they're kind of. I mean, I'll be honest. I think they're happy, but I think they're also kind of like, fuck, like, you know, maybe we want to do something else, but they don't have like the money to do it. I
Well,
don't know,
now they
No,
should.
they have the money.
I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm playing devil's advocate. Like, you know, I don't think it's happening at all. I don't think Gearbox is being bought by Microsoft at all.
Look,
let's say, like, it
I'll
is.
say
Like,
that
let's look at
Borderlands
the
3, it does not take full advantage, not even close to full advantage of the X. As a matter of fact, I think it's just a fucking
Fuck
copy
no.
paste.
Yeah, it's a crap port.
But what I'll also say is that
It's broken.
it's a lot of fun when it works properly, and I've actually relegated myself to the 30 frames mode because the frame rate mode is so unstable in heavy combat. I'm very perceptible to that kind of stuff. Digital Foundry proved it with their video, so I lock it. But it's a lot of fun, man. Once you get used to 30 FPS again, and me and Colt are kind of running through it, having fun. It's a quality game. I still think that Borderlands is the best looter shooter all this time later, man. They still do it better than anybody. It's the only looter shooter that I actually enjoy.
Right, I agree. I love the game.
I think that the game is great when you're playing with one person. Once you go above that to 3 or 4 player co-op, for some reason something just happens to the game, and there's so many goddamn glitches.
Yeah,
Shit just
it's
starts
not running
working.
right.
It's not running right. You're getting it's like literally almost unplayable. Like that. Like we had really bad experiences with the game when we were all together playing. And then when we went to, like, basically I played with my buddy Dealer and Cold played together and stuff like that, where we just kind of went on our own. And I think Rand played by himself too. It was a lot better. It felt a lot better. It worked a lot better. And then that, to me, I don't like that. I don't, because I want to play with like a bunch of my buddies.
It should play. It should be play as it's supposed to. And
yeah, if
4-player
you're gonna put
co-op's
it in the
always
game,
been just fine on the other ones, but there's something wrong with this. They pushed it out to start making their money. They were limited review copies, as one of my friends said, which I won't name names. Dealer name it anyway. They did exactly what they planned to do, was to get kind of a tailored review audience, get good scores, get big hype, make a bunch of money. The game is super fun.
Manipulate, you mean?
I guess.
I think the game's like an 84 on PC right now, which is its highest metric, and I guess according to some, that's average. That's below average even. It's trash.
Yeah,
that's trash.
This is a big franchise, and they should have made sure that everything was good to go before launching such a.
I love it when
cool
it's an
game.
Xbox game in a mid 80. It's fucking trash, but nobody says shit about these multiplats. King Long says, had they bought a Japanese developer? No, they have not, and that's that White Owl studio I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think that one is a very good guess. I do think that they're going to get a Japanese studio, possibly announced at XO19, or another time, possibly. Even a Twitter announcement, because they're not a huge studio. Gearbox is very interesting. It's very interesting that he said that, because the other day I actually thought to myself, I said, Gearbox is a typical studio that I could see Xbox kind of being interested in, because you could take that studio and you could say, okay, you get them, and then you could use one of the IPs that you have, if you wanted to use that you have, obviously, in the in what IPs that you do have, or you could just put them on anything. Pretty much, they could be very versatile. So that one's a very interesting one. But with the success of Borderlands 3, I do think that if that was in process and not solidified, or wasn't the deal was made, that probably deal's not going to be made, because their value just skyrocketed with the latest release.
That's what I'm saying. The odds of them being acquired went down.
But I'm personally not a fan of Gearbox. But I do kind of see Microsoft kind of, if they wanted a studio that they could mold or direct in a way, which they're not doing with any of the other studios. The other studios, as I explained before, they're being more of a facilitator and somebody there that can help, and their direction is. But if they do want some type of studio that they can mold, or they can, put out certain things that they would like to put out, and have a willing employee or a willing studio to do it, they're the perfect studio to do it, because they're kind of like devs for hire, in my opinion.
I would like to see Gearbox do one more Borderlands. Maybe it's because the last one came out in like 2011. I don't know.
12, yeah.
Something like that. I would like to see them do Borderlands 4 with a big ass budget and polish the hell out of it, because as some people say, the game is broken for them, and there are issues, especially in co-op. The fast travel system is fucked half the time too. Performance on the X and the performance mode is bad. Even the performance mode and the resolution mode use the texture filtering and direct settings from the base Xbox, and they just bumped up the resolution. They didn't even fucking try. So if you want an X patch to be made and for that to be reoptimized, you guys have to tweet at Gearbox, and their thing will pop up, and tell them to really take advantage of the Xbox One X in a very polite way, of course, and tell them that stuff's important, because they just half-assed it. It's almost like they outsourced the pro versions of the game. It's weird, but Midway says this is why forward compatibility is important. More consoles to buy games, instead of having great titles that only go to 40, 50, 60 million consoles. That's true. And as we talked about, developers want that security as well. If they had to choose between releasing on one console or two, most likely, seeing as they want as much money as possible, they're always aiming to put things on more platforms. They will choose to launch it in more platforms. Bungie coming home, says Aaron JF94. Not so sure about that, but they have, I think, like Phil and them had a sleepover. We talked about that last week. I mean, who knows?
They're in the trust stage now.
King Long says Gearbox, they can barely make a good game unless it's Borderlands. Then they ruined Borderlands 3 by they did reduce it. Didn't ruin it. Come on, rare loot being reduced, I don't think ruined it. The legendary loot's a little more rare now, but I think it kind of makes it more special. In fact, I think the legendary loot should be a little more powerful in my opinion. Right now, it's really not super powerful over some other stuff.
I found a few things that are pretty awesome. So
Yeah,
but
it's
it
fun.
needs to be special.
It's fun. Again, shout out to over 700 people watching, or at least that's what it says on my screen. I think it's kind of out of sync there, but hit that like button, guys, if you can. We're already past our goal, but help us out if you're able. If you haven't hit that little thumbs up button, share this out with some friends and let some people know that we're in town. We talk about Xbox, and not everything is fucking doom and gloom all the time. We do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and move forward and get into. Let me scroll down here. We've got the Obsidian, real quick. I want to run by this real quick. I mentioned this in one of my last videos. Oh, by the way, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Stadia, the director of games at Google Stadia, is out there saying multiplayer will be way better than what you can get on a console. For one, please shut the fuck up, Google. No, just stop lying to people. Now, their rationale here is that it's going to be like a LAN party. You're coming from our server, so everyone's kind of connected and there's no connection issues. But you're not talking about all the latency you got and all the bullshit, the variables. Like, you're not going to beat local hardware. Stop pretending like you are. If you try to do that, you're just going to scare people off because you're trying to treat them like they're idiots. Obsidian's epic new RPG, hiring staff for this open world next, hiring staff for its next world-class RPG. With melee combat multiplayer is using Unreal Engine 4. It's got a day-night cycle, and their hiring staff is over 200 people strong. There are some things with the job listing that talk about a multi-platform game, Tim. I'm pretty sure, because as Matt Booty already confirmed, they are going to keep bigger franchises exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. There's a job listing out there talking about a multi-platform game they're working on. I don't know if it's an older listing or what, or maybe it's for a mobile game. Or a smaller game that might go to other platforms. What are your thoughts on that job listing? Because I've heard about that like twice.
I think they're talking about PC or possibly PC, possibly mobile game. From what I heard, and I think Aaron also reiterated what Booty said, and from people that I've talked to about kind of like the messaging on this, Xbox is looking for to develop these games strictly for Xbox ecosystem. Whether it be even Outer Worlds 2 that comes out. It's something that I think that they really should, even though they have said it, kind of reiterate and bounce back home. You know what I mean? They have to drill that home into people's minds, because stuff like this is always picked apart. But they're only talking about in this case PC. I'd be very surprised and I'd be actually disappointed if this game came out and it was a new IP or whatever and it was multi-plat. I think at that point, if they started doing that, that's something that will really, in my opinion, start to eat away at the brand. Even more than
they said otherwise.
Yeah, they said otherwise. But and like I said, I've talked to other people. I'm sure you guys talked to other people too, but I've talked on this specific subject, and I was rest assured that they are these games, Ninja Theory, Obsidian.
The bigger budget games are going to be
the bigger budget games are all going to be developed just for Xbox and PC.
I mean, the Microsoft said it themselves in a business gaming.biz article or whatever it was, that they are not focusing on any other consoles from this point forward. And Matt Booty kind of clarified and went into more detail as to, look, hey, some of the smaller games, it is what it is, right? Like Rad and stuff like that. But the bigger budget titles, they're going to remain exclusive to that platform. Adam in the super chat says Gearbox was once considered to make Halo 4. That is true. Bonnie Ross kind of stopped that. I mean, people talking about multi-platform, Obsidian, PC stuff like that. Wouldn't worry about it. They've already talked about this not coming to PlayStation. Nothing else is coming to PlayStation, according to them.
I think. Sorry. I think it is PC. Like Phil Spencer himself said, I think it was like last year or something. He said they would be very hesitant to purchase or acquire a studio that didn't make games for Xbox and PC.
Yeah,
like that's exactly what he said. His exact words, I think.
I mean, their games have all come to PC since like 2015.
Yeah,
right?
and that's what I'm saying. Is I think that's what it means by multi-platform is PC, and then obviously the Xcloud everything, right? Like that's what I think it is. I don't think it means multi-platform and Nintendo and PlayStation and all that. I think it just means PC and Xbox, and that's it.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there because that's a comment I've seen a time or two. And if you're curious about what Matt Booty interview I'm talking about, click on my last video. It's the YouTube link on in the description for the source, one of the sources. Matt Booty's interview is in there where he pretty much shuts that down. And then Microsoft went into more detail about not doing anything else for other systems like that. Fable 4 has reportedly hired multiple people for its writing team, and many of them were members of the writing staff for Batman Arkham Knight. So that's Playground Games' second team, reportedly, right? We are very convinced that that is a Fable game, maybe a Fable reboot or Fable 4. I would just do a reboot at this point. Yeah, Arkham Knight wasn't a perfectly written game by any means, but they are definitely going after some serious talent, Zonker.
Yeah, they are. And this whole studio, like, to me, I think this studio's almost as impressive as the Initiative. A lot of people forget that this studio is, I think the leadership at Playground Games is extremely high tier. I think that's why they're giving them the reign to hire whoever the fuck they want, and they're going after some pretty goddamn good people in the industry to get this team to be what it needs to be. And if it's a Fable, everybody's saying it is a Fable, so we'll see. If it's a Fable, awesome. But this RPG team, we know it's an open world RPG. They're going to need some good writers that have been on a scale of like a Batman or something else, and for them to even hire those people, and it's probably for side quests. I don't know at this point. Like I don't know. Like it's been in development for like 2 or 3 years now, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how far along the story is and all that, but I don't know, man. This team is extremely impressive to me, like the Initiative, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, man.
Yeah, a lot of these big RPGs have like a dedicated side quest team. So you're right; it could be for side quests or something like that. But Fable has got to be much further along than what
they better go over to they better go over to CD Projekt Red and freaking kidnap some storytellers over there. be like, hey, man, come over here. Yeah, it's great over here. Come on.
Yeah, hire from CD Projekt Red. Hey, Colt, I wanna kind of give you this topic here. PS5 Pro is kind of surging in the news here over the past couple days. 2 models at launch, much like with the Scarlett and the Lockhart, or the Anaconda and the Lockhart. I was told by and Tim was told definitely by people that are kind of involved with Lockhart and all that that was definitely a thing. If it was canceled, it was done so shortly before E3. And you never know, they may come out with a weaker model Xbox a year after the Project Scarlett, kind of like high-end graphics cards do today. They release the high-end stuff where all the premium is at, and then they release the lower-end stuff later. But PlayStation reportedly, according to Japanese analyst or whatever, right, Colt, looking to do a similar thing?
Yeah, I mean, before I say that, yeah, I think it's a great idea for Microsoft to put out 2 consoles.
But it's confusing.
But the real drawback is people are worried that the weaker one will hold back the more powerful one, but that just really isn't true.
D-Batch, I keep smashing into these people's heads that like PC has been doing this for decades. There's a billion different combinations of parts.
We've already looked at X enhanced games for 2 years. I mean, there's almost 500 X enhanced games or something crazy like that already. It's people are fear mongering that if PS5 has a PS5 and a PS5 Pro, that one's going to hold back the other, but that just isn't how it works, even on console.
I mean, lazy development holds back these systems.
Yes,
that's it.
Yes. Now you could say that developers might get lazy and make the base version and then port up for the PS4, PS5 Pro, but I mean, that's very rare that happens. Like as in the form of Borderlands 3, where the X version is like just barely an upgrade from the Pro. Or even not even
actually
an upgrade,
I think it's a downgrade, actually.
It's almost a downgrade, yeah. So do I think that there's going to be a PS5 Pro? I don't think so, but I think it would be a great idea. I am championing the idea to let people choose if they'd like to buy the economy model or if they want to spend extra and get the full meal deal. I think that's really good consumer practice. Phones do it, cars do it, dealers Razer does it.
Microwaves do it.
Dealer's got one with 2 blades, and he's got another one with 7 blades.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not that far fetched, but we're gonna find out in 6 months.
Well, the guy that reported, the journalist, he's a Japanese journalist. The guy that reported that apparently has like some clout in Japan, and like he's reported on some stuff like the Nintendo Switch Lite. Like he was the first one to break that. He was the first one to break a couple other things, and like apparently he's been right like multiple times. So that's why it's being reported a lot, is that this dude apparently knows a lot of people, and when he says something, apparently people listen over there. And so for him to report that and kind of go on a limb, people are kind of thinking like, hey, is this actually going to fucking happen? Because this dude's reporting on it.
That's why I did a story on it last week, and that's why, because of his credibility. I'm with Colt. I do think it'd be beneficial to have two models. And I wish I put this in my story. In hindsight, I probably should have. But I think if this is really true, it's to combat the Scarlett, because the things that we're hearing behind the scenes is that the Scarlett's going to be pretty powerful. And if the regular PlayStation 5 is not going to be as powerful as that, if they're going after, the traditional gamer with a cheaper price console, having a more powerful console the next generation, I think it's going to be important. So they might be releasing a second console to combat that. That's a possibility as well.
Do you think that that Sony heard this hardware ray tracing announcement from Microsoft and said, "Man, we have a whole year and a half to do or die right now. Maybe we should go ahead and ask AMD for a bigger chipset." Do you think like that's what happened, or do you think this was always the plan?
I don't think so.
I don't think it was always the plan. It's it's hard to say, because Microsoft has been really quiet too. Like, we heard that second console was canceled. Maybe it's not.
They also said
maybe it's there in the wings to combat Sony. If Sony was, maybe it's a counter reaction to Sony. And launch the codes now. Sony's attacking. Launch the codes. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a situation like that. I don't know. And also, too, I want to address this once again. The dealer and I always talk about this, but it's nonsense. If one console is not as powerful as the next, it'll just scale down. Ever since consoles went to the same architecture as PC, you forget about the previous generation shit, because they're all in the same architecture. The system will be able to detect what it's capable of, and it'll scale it back. It'll pare it back if it's got to be fucking shadows, the frame rate, the resolution, whatever. It'll do what it needs to do to play that game. We have this on PC. We have fucking a GTX 1050, which is a pretty low ass card that can play a lot of the games, all the games basically. Just look as pretty.
That 1050 don't hold back my 2080, right? Like,
yeah, no. So just get that old.
Also, too, people say, well, why do you need a Scarlett? You can play it on the X. Well, then why would you ever need a 2080 and just not get a 1050 or 1060, right? Like, just think about it, right?
What I think both of these consoles, PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Scarlett, I think they're going to push 4K 60. And I think the most important thing is that they're going to push it at the right price point where, people will be like, shit, should I even get a PC? Because you know what? I can get 4K 60 out of pretty much all my games on this system, and it's a fraction of the cost of PC. And I think the next generation consoles are going to kind of blur that line. And in turn, I think it might actually benefit PC as well, because it might actually bring some of the PC prices down as well. Because those NVIDIA cards, let's be honest, I'm not going to say they're not fantastic cards. I own a lot of them, but they're overpriced,
Yeah.
Well, I would say I'm actually quite happy by not seeing a lot of news on the consoles. Like, I mean, there are some tidbits here and there that we've seen or heard about, and some of us have made a crap ton of videos about them, because there are like we're basically salivating for anything about these consoles. But what I like is that both companies seem to be at a fucking dead stare with each other to not show anything. Like, honestly, it just feels like that, and I feel like that's good for like Microsoft. Actually, hey, you're fucking learning. Like, how about you keep some things close to the vest, so your competitor doesn't know what the hell's happening.
Yeah,
like that's what I enjoy. That I think that the competitiveness between two companies like that is just better for us.
The hardware is important. Like, they have to protect that, and they have to deliver on it. The games are done by the studios, and they're done by third party and first party studios that they're involved with or not, but that's their responsibility, is the hardware, and the price and the power has to be right. And Dee's right. They have to get the price right. They also have to get the power right. And it's a delicate balance to provide something that is powerful, but is also in the price point where people are going to flock and go get it. Because remember, the Xbox One and PS4 didn't have super compelling games to launch with. It was all about what could the console do.
All about hardware. Yep.
Yeah. Hardware.
I'll say this: if Xbox needed a little bit of a shot in the arm or something to give them a little bit of a a calling card, as they say. If they have hardware ray tracing and Sony doesn't, and I'm kind of on the I'm kind of on the brink, like on the edge of what they really. But if they do have it and Sony doesn't, that's going to be a big deal. I would think. I think there's going to be something that would be focused on. And to be honest, the one thing that makes me think that Sony wouldn't have it is because when I was speaking to it was a developer, and I was talking to them, and it was in a DM, and they said the one thing that they thought was weird is if you're an engineer and you're a type of person that's talking about it, you specifically state everything that you're going to push out. So when Czerny gave out that interview to Wired, any kind of like person that's putting out a system like that, they're gonna identify what they have. And for him not to say hardware, I thought that was a little questionable. So I do think that there is a thing there that's a possibility that Xbox could have that. It could be where Sony has more T-flops and Xbox has the ray tracing built into it, because the actual ray tracing is built into the silicon, is what I'm told. It's built onto the chip. So that's a big deal. That's not like, something where you just do overnight. That's something that's planned. That's something that's going to increase your size of your chip, which is going to increase the size of the console, or possibly increases the size of the console. It's something that's a big decision. So I'm really interested to see what happens.
Well, I'm a little like, the thing that I look at it is that Sony kind of they came out on a random Tuesday and talked about the console, right? Remember with the SSD and all that stuff. They've had 4 to 5 months to kind of rectify all these people questioning if you have hardware ray tracing, and they haven't. They haven't come out. They haven't done anything on a random fuck Tuesday. They haven't done any of that to kind of to basically rectify that. And so you kind of sit there and you're like, okay, well, they announced this at E3. Microsoft did. Sony hasn't talked about it at all and never brings it up and never even brought it up and never brings anything out. But on a random Tuesday, they'll talk about the SSD and certain specs and all that stuff, but they're not going to rectify not having hardware accelerated ray tracing or having it. I mean, it's got to be something out there, man.
That's why I said the Scarlett wasn't going to be more, that the PS5 wasn't going to be more powerful than the Scarlett, because everything that Sony said compared to everything that Microsoft said, it doesn't point to the PS5 being more powerful. Like they tiptoed around ray tracing, like you said, Zocker, and they had every opportunity to say, look, we're going to have ray tracing. It's a new thing. Some games will probably have it. They haven't said a word, but Microsoft said it twice.
Well, let me ask you guys a question.
Double down.
What would you rather have? Hardware ray tracing built into the silicon that comes at a lower cost, or a higher GPU like T-flop? So let's say Sony's at like a 11
both.
or whatever, 10, or what say you can have either one. Which one would you rather have? A lower T-flop?
I want
hardware
that's
ray
hard to
tracing.
answer because we haven't really seen ray tracing being utilized to its maximum level. So we don't know.
Personally, I want ray tracing to be on there. To be honest with you, ray tracing is really what's going to push this industry forward and get us games that look drastically different from what we're playing today. So I want both of them to have it. And to be honest with you, I do think the PlayStation 5 will have hardware ray tracing. I just don't think it's going to be as capable as the Scarlett. So I think it'll have ray tracing cores. I just don't think it's going to be as capable of doing ray tracing as the Xbox will be, to be honest.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrangle this shit in here. It could very well have it. And if they do 2 SKUs, it's very possible the high-end SKU they kind of want to do for things like ray tracing. They want to have one more accessible for the low end. And if Xbox do it, we'll see. Xbox has confirmed already they don't need a mid-gen refresh this time around, and like 2 or 3 years after launch, because the Scarlett's so capable off the bat that they don't need to do that. And with the new CPU stuff, that's pretty much going to be how it's going to go. But in terms of having more raw GPU power versus having all that GPU power, but maybe a little less with the addition of some custom tech, some cores that can process both ray tracing and maybe physics, I would definitely take those 2 things over slightly more raw GPU power any day. those things will change the way games look completely, and not to mention how they function with physics and all that. So we'll see if any of that stuff happens. But at the end of the day, guys, let us know your thoughts. We're going to wrap it up. We do appreciate you hanging out with us on this random RDX Tuesday once again. Thank you so much for what you do. Hit that like button on your way out. Show a buddy. Retweet this. Help us out a little bit. Check out the links down below. Shout out to all my channel members, the guys with green names. You guys are fucking phenomenal. Thanks for helping support content like this. And as well as the patrons. You guys are fucking badasses as well. Thanks for all of that. Those links are down below. And we're going to do some shout outs, or we're going to do some outros. Again, guys, let us know your thoughts on this video renders. And of course, thank you again for what you do. Colt Eastwood, man, long show. I'm tired as hell. I'm ready to eat. I'm ready to get the fuck out of here, just like the rest of you. What do you?
I already ate during the show.
I know.
I apologize for that.
No shit, Colt.
Yeah.
He's in the background.
Frosted.
What have you been playing, and where can people find you, bud?
Zocker and Rand and you and I have been playing Borderlands 3, but you and I mostly, and I'm really enjoying it. And geez, I guess that's it. I'm just waiting there's a bunch of new games coming like in a week for a while. So yeah, you can find me at Colt Eastwood on YouTube and Twitter and Xbox and PlayStation and stuff. And
yeah.
And Dealer, I really want to thank you for having me on my show again.
No
Thanks
problem. Hey, Deep Batch, bud, what have you been playing? What have you been benchmarking? Where can people find you?
So over the weekend, of course, I played a lot of Call of Duty. I actually uploaded some multiplayer gameplay footage to my channel in sparkling 4K quality, maxed out. So check that out. And yesterday I cleared Gears 5. What a fantastic game. Good story.
That game is trash.
Good ending. I'm not gonna say too much, but just a good game. Play that game, clear that game.
Leaps
Good
and
game.
bounds over some of its predecessors, man.
Yeah. You'll be satisfied with that game, and it's in Game Pass. And even on Inside Xbox today, they announced if you buy a Rockstar drink, you'll get a 7-day Game Pass code in there. So there's no excuse not to play.
It's so funny, dude. Does that game remind you of a game that has compromised on its quality in the name of a service?
Not at all. And you know what? When it's all said and done, that game is going to be one of the top games of the year. And right now, it is currently the best looking HDR game.
So
period.
What are you saying, D, that this game is in no way compromised due to it being in a service and it's actually Xbox's best game all generation?
No. And in fact, it gives me hope for the next generation that Microsoft finally gets it, because this game was special. This game was special. And if you played this game, you know that it's special. If you're saying it's trash and it's garbage, you didn't play this. Straight up.
Or if you say it's compromised because for the name of a service, like I heard one fucking idiot doing while he was playing the game in the fucking service he's complaining about. I just mind blown.
It's just a sign of things to come. And once the ball gets rolling, we're gonna get a lot of games that are going to be this caliber. Of course, we're going to get smaller games. We're going to get some indie games, but we're going to get a lot of top-notch AAA games. And I'm excited to see what Playground brings to the table.
Wasn't Forza Horizon 4 made with Game Pass in mind as well? Like Game Pass was 2 years old by then.
Yeah.
I mean, to even say that it's made with the Game Pass in mind is kind of like an overstatement at this point. I would say that they knew it was going to Game Pass and they're like, let's do a few extra things. But so far, no game has been made for Game Pass, I would say.
And what's surprised me the most with Game Pass is the amount of third-party games that are going into the service. There's some really good third-party games going into the service. So anyone that's saying that service is not a good value,
actually,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, Dealer's technically correct there. I don't think we've had a game on the Xbox that was made knowing that it was going to Game Pass before it was started. So there's not like a quality issue where they're like, well, it's Game Pass, so just kind of.
I don't even think it matters. Like Microsoft know they need compelling content, like the Amazon app, right? Amazon Prime app where you watch video. Like I would never boot that fucking thing up if not for the Grand Tour and the boys. Yeah, if not for the quality content that makes me choose to open up that service, I would never open it up. It's common sense. Even David Jaffe had to crush a dumb fanboy over this. So, it is. I got to give a shout out to Shoguns who took the plunge for $5 a month and became a member to support the content on this channel. Thank you so much, Shoguns. You the man. We've also got to give a shout out to Tim Dog, Xcloud Tim Dog. Bud, what have you been playing and where can people find you? Fucking Tim Dog.
You can find Tim on Inside Xbox during the Xcloud segment.
Yeah, there you
Oh
go.
my god.
He's a guy that's can't stop smiling, man.
Yeah, fucking Tim Dog. This is so amazing. This is amazing. Tim Dog, can you hear me? I'm mocking you. Nope. All right. Zalker, what have you been playing, bud? Where can people find you?
I've been playing Apex like crazy. I'm getting ready for season 3. I really enjoy that game. It's a lot of fun. I've been playing Borderlands 3 with you guys and my other buddy, and I'm gonna be playing Uncharted 4 a bunch this week. I want to try to get through that game. So yeah, I've been playing that a lot. And you guys can find me on Twitter at Zalker87, on YouTube, Zalker87. Put videos up, put one up today. I really enjoyed making that video. Very positive Xbox stuff because hey, we're looking forward to everything that's coming from Xbox. And you guys can find me on Mixer, Zalker87. I stream. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Dealer. I appreciate it, brother. And everybody in the chat, you guys are fucking awesome. Best chat out there, man. Honestly, you guys just fuel us. It's awesome.
Even on dead days like this, not necessarily what's been going on. We're all kind of like, yeah. Tim Dog, by the way, went to the bathroom, he said, and Prython just boosted the Discord server. I don't even know what that means, but thank you so much, Prython. He just was able to catch the show on the back half. You can always rewatch it, buddy. But yeah, we're talking about this thing that was going around about some new studios and all this crap, and we gave our in-depth opinions on it. And by the way, channel members and patrons, also the Discord is here as well if you guys want to join that. I pretty much I'm going to start relinking that every month for everyone that's kind of in that category. But again, guys, we want to thank you so much for what you do. I have been playing. Tim, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Thanks.
What have you been playing, brother, and where can people find you?
I've been kind of under the weather. I've still been playing Gears. I'm on level. One of the things that I have to say, the game is unbelievable. But for me, I'm not as an advanced gamer. I always admit that as you guys just blow through games, and it's like I just shake my head. It's like maybe when I was younger I could do it that way, but the checkpoints, they seem like they're very spread out. Like if I beat a Brumac, it's not necessarily going to save me. It's going to save at that checkpoint. I might have to go through another horde of a Zion and a bunch of creatures. And right now I'm stuck on a part where that's the part. I beat the Brumac and I've beaten it a couple times. And I don't want to spoil anything, but this I just can't get past the part. But I'm third. I'll get past it. Usually, what I do is I take a break and then come back and I beat. But I gotta just tell guys, Gears 5 is just freaking straight fire. This game is unbelievable. I am totally loving the whole story. I'm loving the characters. I'm loving the graphics. I'm loving just really just the whole game. People say it fell off after 3. I disagree. I feel like it was just the right amount of, exploring and all that stuff to get under your belt, and then you get back into the right back into the straight action. And I have to say, like I said, the game, if you haven't played it, play it. It's really impressive. It's in my opinion right now rating up is probably the best game they put out this gen for Xbox.
It's so weird, man. Like Borderlands did 5 million in a week or whatever, and according to their own logic, which they don't even use, it's pretty much on every platform. And shouldn't they be saying that's all? Like why aren't they doing that with Borderlands?
Yeah, like I said today, I don't really. I really do think it's a lot of Sony fanboys that are just jealous or insecure or whatever the case is, right. Because threatened shooketh, as we say. Shooketh. Because listen, you got to give credit where credit's due. You can nitpick this game and say, "Hey, it's this," but the game is awesome. If you're like like you're into graphics and you're into shooters, I mean, there's nothing better than this.
The AAA blockbusterness with this one is strong.
Exactly, it's strong, and it should be appreciated. Just give it its due. It's going to hit 10 million. It's going to be. This game is, internally, Xbox is very happy. Just kudos to the game. I'll be finished next time on the show. I meant to try to finish it before the show so I could talk about it, but I didn't get to it. Like I said, if you haven't played it, just go out there and play it. As far as me, where you can find me, Xcloud Tim Dog. I'm on Twitter, and I'm on this awesome RDX show. It's the best podcast going, in my opinion. It is Tuesday night, 8 p.m. I'm there like every week.
Like every week.
You're in there like swimwear, baby.
All right. Brian, I'm going to give a shout out to Brian DiDomenico. We've also got Solid Snake, the Indie Gamer. What's going on, brother? Greg E3 Egg, Timothy Clark, again, Shoguns, who's newly a member. Timothy Clark again. William Lanza, Philly Eagle, NASCAR Aloe, who also says, thank you, dealer and crew, for the show every week. Best Xbox and gaming channel on YouTube. Thank you very much. Lethal Papa, Obi-Wan, Kal-El, all you guys, even if you're not even a fan of the show, thanks for showing up and engaging with the chat. And those who keep it respectful usually don't get drop kicked by our moderators at all, you know. But just know that you say some dumb shit and accuse us of saying stuff we didn't say or lying on us, you're probably going to get murdered, basically. But I've been playing Borderlands as well, waiting on Colt, so I'm kind of on his schedule with that. I'm not in a rush, honestly. The game could use a few patches, so I'm not in like a super rush to blast through it. I'm enjoying it. Good game, other than the technical issues. I've also booted up Anthem. People are messaging me on Xbox, and they're like, Anthem? I'm like, yeah, I'm playing a little bit of Anthem. I play it, and I instantly get pissed off because I remember, this is made by BioWare. What the fuck? So I got my issues, but it looks amazing. It's just not my type of game, you know. But I might go through it because the game you don't really have to pay a lot of attention to. It's clear already. But yeah, I've kind of been playing that Wreckfest, Borderlands, and we'll be playing Grid here in the next week or two. Maybe Ghost Recon as well. You know, we play all the newest stuff. I got that AAA gamer score. All right, there's some people that grind out them indies for that gamer score. Pretty much most everything I've done is AAA related, and that's for a reason. That's the kind of games I like to play. But again, guys, let us know what you think down below. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Check out the links down below. Thanks to the members. Thanks to the mods. Thanks to the patrons. You guys rock. And we are going to get out.
Later, everybody. Have a good night.
I signed out twice.
Team Dog on Inside Xbox.